southern variant. Inside the greenhouses, you find most of the time the higher variants of the bananas, like 6 or 20 kg of bananas when it's close to the coast. Branch of the warm Gulf Stream that you find here, because this Phytophthiritis disease did not come here. So on the southwestern tip here, just next to the volcano that we are going to visit.
Das ist.
Fun.
Same qualities. Now, this tree is very special. It was also exported to America. You can find it in California. People imported it, and it's also small harpoon hooks on the surface. They catch like the small drops, particles in the clouds. And if you have a bit of wind and you have the clouds here, you stand under a tree like this. Within 15 minutes, you're completely soaked. Because an adult tree like this, it produces 85 to 100 liters of water in 24 hours. And that's how it survives. It can survive long dry spells. On the inside, in the wood, it's very hard, it's heavier than water, contains a lot of resins, which protect the tree against insects. And then if there's a forest fire, the bark of this tree is at least 5 centimeters, 100 layers, but normally even bigger. And for example, they did tests, scientific tests, 45 minutes, 400 degrees Celsius temperature fire. After 45 minutes, on the inside they only measure 40 degrees Celsius, like 3 degrees more than our blood. So normally, basically, this tree does not die because it's fire resistant, insect resistant, drought resistant. So we have some trees here on La Palma that are estimated between 600 to 800 years. And many of the trees that you see now have been planted in reforestation programs. But in the last 500 years, La Palma has been like not only a sugarcane exporting island, but also a wood exporting island. By now, since the 1970s, every tree is protected. It's forbidden to cut trees anymore here in the island. It grows everywhere. The farmer that we saw harvesting wheat next to the road, he was eating this. We call it the vinegar tree. The leaves are a bit acid. The goats, they love it. But the most important characteristic of this is it grows on new lava flows. Where we are at the end of the hiking trail here, you will look down to the lava flows of 1971 Teneguía volcano, and you see some small green dots. That's this one. It grows on new lava flows, 50 years old. Next to my house I have a lava flow that's 500 years old. It's only this one that grows on top. It's not yet fertile. So bit by bit in the summer it drops its dry leaves, making the soil a bit fertile. But it's like a pioneer species that grows on new lava. I haven't seen it on big island of Hawaii, but it could be very useful there. Of course, you're not allowed to import anything there.
Пішли на кратери подушного вулкану. дорожки с вулкана. Идут. Это кратер бывшего вулкана. Красота здесь. На этом острове 7 вулканов потухших, на данный момент потухших.
If you've been to the Big Island, it's
Yes, I was there.
the cauldron that you can look out at.
Yes.
And it was
No, we don't have an open space all the time where lava comes out. It's just really eruptions, and then it is built on a piece of land created by lava flows in 1949. And then just north of that, you see like a black layer. You see a black flow. That is the lava flow that came from the mountains, 2,000 feet above sea level. Northeastern direction, in the direction of the Eurasiatic tectonic plate. That's why you have earthquakes in Turkey, Greece, Italy, etc. Because the tectonic plate of the Canary Islands is a bit thinner, it moves a bit quicker than the African continent. They move together, but they move a bit quicker. They spit out in the African rift, in the Atlantic rift, being pushed in northeastern direction. And as the tectonic plate of the Canary Island pushes Africa forward, it has to bend. And when it bends, it gets cracks. And when it gets cracks, part of the crust are being pushed up. That's the theory of the lifted blocks. There's 5 theories that can explain volcanism. This is one of the 5, which is the most accepted. But you need more than only cracks to get volcanoes. So we have like a volcanic hotspot like you have in the Hawaiian Islands. Now, if you look to the Canary Islands, they are not all on a straight line like in Hawaii. So it's not like a pure hotspot volcano. There must be something more. There may be several tectonic plates, but volcanism is a young science. They don't have a real good understanding of what's happening here in the cracks in the tectonic plates. So there may be several cracks in the tectonic plates. There may be several tectonic plates that move separately, and that's why the Canary Islands are not completely on a straight line. But in general, you can say that the islands on the eastern side, like Fuerteventura, Lanzarote, they are the oldest islands, like 20 million years old. And then the youngest islands you find here, La Palma, and in this direction, unfortunately because of the clouds we can't see it, El Hierro, 1 million years, the young-born baby. La Palma is the kid of 3 years. The next island, Tenerife, is like a young adult, nearly reached its maximum age. And then you have Gran Canaria, where you're heading. That's like 15 million years old, that's the adult. And Fuerteventura, Lanzarote, on the east side, is like grandfather, grandmother. Now, if you come back in 10 million years for your next cruise ship here, then some things have changed. La Palma will be on the place of Tenerife. Tenerife will be on the place of Gran Canaria. Gran Canaria will be on the location where you have now Fuerteventura, Lanzarote. And grandfather, grandmother, Lanzarote, Fuerteventura will have disappeared under the waves. The further you come from the hotspot, the relatively less volcanic activity, relatively more erosion you have. So they build up and they erode off and they disappear under the waves. North of the Canary Islands, between Madeira and the Canary Islands, you have a whole line of underwater islands, 45, 65 million years old, have all disappeared, eroded off. South of El Hierro, there's a whole line of new islands. If you come back in 10 million years, your cruise ship will go there, and we have new holiday islands. They're ready for you, yeah? You can book already with me. So they have a system to take out the outer side of the grapes and all the solid material. They throw it back to get again the maximum taste out of it. It's not easy to.
Pues durante una hora aproximadamente estamos pisando y descargando el mosto y enviando el mosto para los tanques de acero. Durante una hora. A partir de esa hora formamos. Ya está liberado y ahora retiramos la barra de hierro. Y ahora giramos en sentido inverso hacia el este para que la viga empiece a bajar.
¿Es el pino canario?
Es pino canario.
This is what the canary pine tree was.
No lo voy a hacer porque le falta un poquito de grasa, pero es girar en el sentido en que voy yo.
He's not telling it now because he hasn't greased it yet. So in Greece and straight after the conquest, he was also brought to the Palma. Best grapes here on the island are still from Malvasia. You find many of them here under the volcano.
En primer lugar vamos a probar el blanco seco, que está elaborado con un 85% de cristal blanco, que es la uva más. Sí, el blanco seco está compuesto por un 85% de la variedad cristal blanco.
Okay, the right one here is from 85% a grape variety called Eastern Black Rock.
Que es la uva que más kilos da.
That gives the most, the biggest production here in the island per plant.
Sí, no es un blanco seco.
You see the thin bottles are these Malvasia.
That's the most expensive.
Yeah, it starts with like 20 euros a bottle.
Gracias.
And it's like all the time that we lay it for several years. And there are 45 bottles.
What is the name?
Sí, voy a traer algo.
What is the name? No name? Okay.
Group of expatriates here, and then these are only the resident people. So when you stay here 6 months plus 1 day, you become officially tax resident here on the island. resident Germans, and the second and third community in the whole is the biggest group basically.
In the Canary Islands, especially in La Palma, the higher islands, you have a lot of what we call microclimates. So basically each corner has its own climate because altitude difference, sun, wind, humidity, each corner has its own climate. For example, I can just give you an example. You see there's Santa Cruz town, and left of Santa Cruz you see like a mountain where there's no vegetation and no houses. That is the edge of the crater, and that edge of the crater is also like a border, a frontier of a climate zone. So what we see today is that here in the valley you have the clouds and you have the shade, and then north of the crater you have a bit of sun and less clouds. It's very typical what you have here. So here this valley is like a microclimate. And so that's why we have a lot of different vegetation zones here in the island, the north, the northeast. And what we are now in a very typical vegetation zone because basically what you see here is predominantly these two types of trees. Yeah? So this is one of the 5 laurel trees that we have here. This is called the false laurel tree. I don't know why they call it false laurel tree. It looks different, it has different leaves. You see it's like a saw. It also has different fruits, and it doesn't need a lot of rain. Here you don't have that much rain as in the north and in the northeast, so it can do also with clouds and the fine drizzle that you now have. And this one is in love, this tree, the false laurel tree, is in love with this one. This one you may know, she's called Erica. Erica Heatherbush. This is Erica Heatherbush. So you know Erica probably in Europe mainly. I don't know if you have it in the USA. You have the hay. No, it's called Erica. In mainland Europe it grows like 40, 50, 60 centimeters, 1 to 2 feet high. It has a pink color. Here it has a white flowering. It's nearly flowering now. And these two together, you see them here everywhere. All these trees here in the bushes are these two types, and they don't need a lot of rain. So it's like a transition zone here. You see whole of the forest here. So many islands have this. We also have it now like 30-40 years. It pushes away endemic species, and it grows on agricultural surfaces, and when cows or horses eat it, they get chronic disease. So this is one of the many invasive species that we have here.
How did they get there, you know?
I don't know. I saw photos of 1985 from the national park, and I saw it already in those photos. I think they don't know how it came here, maybe with